Hello and welcome everyone, it's Shanna. So glad you're here today. Now we're going to make 3 cards on our video today. We're going to be working with a new release from Spellbinders called Mug Friends. And this has got 13 cutting dies, and you've got a penguin mug and then a plain mug that you can put a snowflake on, and you've got some marshmallow little guys here. And these are the 13 dies that come with it. In addition to that, I've also got the Snow Joy. It is a 2-piece 4 3/4 by 6-inch layering stencil. And we have also got the Press Plus foil plate that is Decorate the Season. And this little collection is called Mugs and Kisses. Now these press plates here, they're like arched and you can layer them up together. They've got some sentiments that you can put in between them. And there is a registration plate that will help you line them up. I didn't use it, I just laid mine down and laid the sentiments down, and I just foiled them right up. And so I've got a red one and a black one. I also did a blue, but I am choosing to work with just the red and the black ones. They'll kind of coordinate with our other card. We're going to take the Snow Joy stencil and we're going to stencil a panel, and then we're going to assemble our Mug Friends dies, and we're going to put that card together first, and then we'll bring those 2 panels in and we'll make some very fast and simple cards. Now this panel I have here is Waterfall from Spellbinders, and I'm just going to use 1 layer of the stencil because I'm going to use some shimmer paint, and it's going to need to dry and it's going to be raised, and I think just for time purposes I'm just going to do 1. I wasn't as happy with the shimmer paint as I thought I would be. It seemed to smash out a little bit underneath my stencil, but I wasn't worried about it because we are going to lay a lot of our die cut elements over them, and so I think it'll work out just fine. So I'm just going to take my spatula from Spellbinders, and I've got this iridescent white shimmer paint, and I'm just going to stir it up because it's been a long time since I've used it, and it's kind of thick. It's a little bit thicker than paint. I just slopped some out there, and I'm just going to lay some down on this stencil. And then I'm going to try and spread it pretty thin, but it does kind of almost like it puffs up or something. I don't know. Anyway, and it's got an iridescent shine to it, just like the name. You get kind of a variety. It actually takes on the color of the cardstock that you put it on, and then I do some ink blending and I kind of change the color a little bit more as we move along. So I'm just kind of dumping some of this out on my stencil and trying to just fill in the areas. And you can see probably I got a little heavy-handed there, and that's probably in the areas where I was less satisfied with how it looked. But we're going to go with it. I'm completely out of all my Ranger paste and different mediums. Most of them had dried up. I did use the press and seal on them inside their lids as well, but I think they'd gotten old enough that they dried up, and I just threw them out probably last weekend when I was doing some cleaning because I realized even my crackle paste was dried up, and I had to throw it out today. So there you go. We've got our little snowflakes on there. You can see there's a couple, 2 or 3 of them that look like they're kind of smushed, and that's okay. I'm going to just lay this aside and let it dry. And then I'm going to take these things and get them cleaned off, and then we'll come back in and start working on our die cut pieces. So I got all that cleaned up so I wouldn't ruin that brand new stencil. And I've got all of my elements laid here in my little tray. And we're going to start assembling our penguin cup of coffee. And so I've got just Raven cardstock black for my mug, and I've just got some white hammer mill for the white of my little penguin, and we're going to get the handle on our mug, just put a little bit of glue on there and get it laid down. So as I'm assembling this and you guys are watching, I'll kind of give you an update. We are under flood advisories in our area. I think I mentioned in other videos we've been taking on a lot of water. We took on 6 inches within 24 hours. And I think where my daughter lives, they took in 10 inches within that time period. And so they're really in some conditions. And anyway, so there's a lot of standing water all over the place. I went past the park this morning when I took the boys to school. They actually were on a delay because all the schools around here are delayed. In fact, my daughter that is in the other area, that they haven't even been able to start school because their schools are flooded. So anyway, when we went past the park, it was completely out of the river and it was clear up in the park. The pond was out of its bank as well, but the river was really, really up. And so I was really shocked at how much more, because last night we went through and I actually took a little Snapchat of it and sent it to the family of how far it was out of the banks. And then today, wow, just substantially more. And we're doing okay today. We're not having rain, but it is supposed to start raining at 8 or 9 p.m. and rain all night long. So I'm not sure if it will have, receded enough with the dryness today that perhaps it won't create much more havoc, but I don't know. There's a lot of water. So my daughter's in-laws actually had to be evacuated out of their home today, and they're actually going to be staying with my daughter at her house. So it's pretty serious in this area right now. We don't normally have this kind of rain, so it's really kind of a shock. So here you can see I've got all the elements I've put together there, and I'm going to bring in my little candy cane straw and get it assembled. It is a little 2-piece straw, and Spellbinders does a nice job of attaching the bits, so you don't have a bunch of little bits you got to lay down on there. They give you a little white edge, and it just all attaches. And then I have got my whip topping for my, I guess this is going to be a latte or something. I don't know. I don't have whipped cream on my coffee, but we're going to add this on there. I think it looks super cute. And this is dark, so that's why I'm calling it coffee. My other mug's going to have lighter cardstock in it, and we'll call that cocoa because we're going to have some marshmallows in it. So I've just put a foam piece underneath there, and I'm just going to layer it up on my little penguin's head, and I think it's super cute. And then we're going to move on to our other. So I used the poppy cardstock for the penguin's scarf, and I'm going to use it for other elements as well. And then for my this mug here, I'm using Bellini, and I'm using poppy for the handle, and just kind of having a couple of different colors on there. I thought it was kind of a fun mixture. I've got a white snowflake. I've die cut 2 of those out and layered them up so that it would add some dimension to the front of our coffee cup. And then one of my cups has truffle colored cardstock, and the other one has fawn. And so that we've got the lighter and the darker. This is the fawn. This is going to be more like the cocoa or maybe coffee with cream in it, but I'm calling it cocoa because we're going to put some marshmallows in it. And I've got, you see in my tray there, I've actually got the Hero Arts tree from yesterday's set in there because I thought it would be fun to add the tree, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. I prematurely laid that coffee down on there. There's a slit in there that you can poke your little marshmallow man in, and so I went ahead and pulled it off, and I'm going to get my marshmallow man assembled, and then we'll tuck my marshmallow man in there, and it will look like the marshmallows are down in the coffee. So I got ahead of myself there, but no harm. I just pulled it off, and we'll just glue it back down, and it'll be just fine. So I took some little black strips of scraps, and I'm putting it behind the buttons and the eyes on the marshmallow man, and I'm just going to get them assembled. And so that will peek through the body so that you'll have the dark. And then we're going to get it's a 2-piece marshmallow man, and then you've got 4 little limbs for the arms and the legs. And on this one, since I'm going to tuck it in, I only really need 1 leg and 2 arms is how I'm going to do it. So I'll get my arms down there and my little leg, and we'll just glue them up and add them to it. This is a super fun set. I saw some other companies have been releasing some mugs right now too. So this is where I'm going to take and just open that slit up and just slide my little marshmallow down in there and just make it look like you know, he's kind of sinking or swimming in the coffee or the cocoa. And I tried to clean off my mug with my glue eraser, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to lay it back down on there. And we've got a really cute little marshmallow man. Now he does have a hat that is super cute, and it will add to his look, and there is a cute little carrot nose that will add to it. So I'm just going to layer up the hat. The hat's 3 pieces. You've got the base, the little puff ball, and then the brim of the hat, or the cuff of the hat. It's like one of those sweater hats or whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to get my other little bits and pieces and get it laid down on there. So I think I said the kids were on a 2-hour delay, so I had to keep them kind of entertained this morning. And they were getting a little bit excited because they've been kind of cooped up because we've had all this rain and they've been in school and stuff. So it was nice this morning. We had some sun, and they were able to kind of go out and play in their yard for a little bit and ride their motorcycle and play around. So they had fun. And then I just let them do it in their pajamas because I thought I'm not going to let them get their school clothes all dirty. And so they just went out in their pajamas, and they've got a big yard, and we're just out there playing. And so then I got them cleaned up, and I said, come on, we got to go to school. And they were ready to go. They've been real eager to go. They seem to be enjoying it, so I'm happy about that. I think they're worn out, though, because they normally would get a nap at my house. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble my second little marshmallow man. And this is why I brought in the green Christmas tree, is this little guy is going to be holding a star. And it's kind of like they have it pictured on the packaging. And I thought, well, if he's going to hold a star, we're going to have him put the star on a Christmas tree. So I thought I'd bring in that Hero Arts Christmas tree, and we'll doll it up, and then we'll put him, he'll be adorning the Christmas tree as we're enjoying a couple of mugs with our friends, hence the name Mug Friends. Anyway, put a little bead of glue on there. We're going to put our little cuff on there, and I just kind of reversed the colors. What I did was I just die cut them both, all the pieces out in the 2 colors twice, and then I had hats that were just the opposite of each other. And so this is the little carrot nose. Now I first cut it out in a carrot colored cardstock, but then I thought I wanted to use coral and match my mug a little bit more. So I did die cut their noses out in coral. I did the penguins in the carrot. I thought that would work well for the penguin, but anyway. So I'm going to get the little legs on here, and I'm kind of going to make the hands and legs look a little bit different here. I'm going to kind of make it look like he's climbing up the tree, so I'm going to angle the legs, and then I'll put one arm reaching toward the tree and then the other arm reaching over his body like he's kind of working on the tree. And so we'll get these little arms laid on here. I think the pieces are all the same. Just die cut out all the same size and everything. Doesn't matter where you put them. So this one I'm just going to lay across his body like he's reaching over to work on the tree. And then we'll get his little hat on his head, and we'll get his little head assembled, and then we'll have that for our tree. And I did also bring in from that Hero Art set yesterday some of the sentiments that I had pressed and foiled from my video yesterday, and here they are. I've actually got Happy Holidays and Seasons Greeting laid there, and Merry Christmas, and I'll wind up choosing Happy Holidays. Now here's the star that the Marshmallow Man is going to be putting on the tree. And so I'm just going to get our tree all decorated up, and I did speed this up because I'm laying down a whole bunch of little bulbs all over this tree, and I'm kind of chasing them around my desk, trying to get them flipped up in the right direction. And we'll get them all laid down on there. Just try to make this tree decorative, like it's already assembled, and then the last thing you do is put the star on top of the tree, and that's what the Marshmallow Man's going to do. So we'll get all these bits and pieces on there, and I've got some tiny ones I'm going to add to it. And there we go. We've got our tree ready. So now we've got all of our die cut pieces for our card, and we just need to work with it. It is dry now, and you can see that it is iridescent, and it just take on kind of that teal colored. And so I'm going to cut it down. I think I wind up cutting it down to 3 3/4 by 5. I start at 4 by 5 1/4, and then I go down to 3 3/4, and then go ahead and just take it down to 5. And I did that so I could have a nice little frame around it. And I'm going to bring in another panel. I'm actually going to bring in this Diamond Blocks 3D embossing folder. I think this one was the one that coordinated with the Dear Santa card kit. And it just has beautiful texture, and it's really going to add a lot to the card as we put it together. So it'll be my base layer. I'm just cutting my card down, my card's base down. It was a little bit off. And then we'll get this panel laid down on there, and then we'll layer up our iridescent panel that I created. And then we'll just have this nice texture on there. So I'm going to get it laid down on there. And look at that. I love that pattern. I think it's really pretty. And I just want to say I really appreciate you guys that watch my channel regularly and watch my videos and hit the like and all that. It just amazes me because you don't know how many times I stop in the middle of a voiceover and say to myself, you are so boring. I'm trying to think of things to talk about to where I'm not just talking about gluing and pressing and all of those things. But anyway, so I've got a blending brush that has blue on it, and I thought it'd be nice to just add a little bit of color around here. The iridescent paint that is on there actually then took on the blue, so some of it looks kind of teal, and then where I've laid the paint, it's taken on that blue color, which is fine. I think it makes it look kind of wintry and blustery, and I like it. So I'm going to lay some foam down on the back of this, then we'll get it popped up and laid on our card base. This is just a big roll that I picked up. I think I picked this up at scrapbookpal.com is where I got this. It was just a nice big roll, and I thought I'll get it. And so I'm working on using it now. So I'm just going to lay 4 strips down on there. We'll pull the backer strips off, and then we'll get it laid down. Then we can start putting all of our bits and pieces on our card, and it'll hopefully come together. Now our next 2 cards are going to be incredibly simple because we just have a full panel of foiled design, and I'm just going to keep it very simple. If you needed to make some fast, simple Christmas cards, that would be a great way to do it, because you could just lay those panels, those plates on your glimmer and just heat it up and just do a ton of panels, just very repetitively, and then cut them down, slap them on a card base, and you've got a bunch of great shimmery card panels and with minimal effort. So this is how I'm going to put it down. So I'm going to get some glue on my tree and get it laid down on there. And my little elements are going to cover up my little smushed snowflakes, so I'm feeling good about that. We're going to get this little guy. He's climbed up this tree, and he is trying to get the star on the top of it. He's got it all decorated except for the star, and he's working his way up there. And then we're going to lay the penguin cup down, and I'm just going to glue it flat and try to hug the right bottom side of my panel there. And then we'll bring in our snowflake cup, and we'll pop it up. And we've kind of got the 2 little marshmallow men. I don't know if I call him snowman or what, but he's like a snowman, but he's made out of marshmallows. Anyway, so I'm going to get some foam squares on this, and then we'll pop it up and lay it down on our card base. And I like the color scheme. I actually took one of Spellbinders' little color cards and took my inspiration for these colors from that. Sometimes I'll use those when I'm not sure what colors I want to work with. And so I did pull one of those colors in, one of those cards, and used it for inspiration for this card specifically. I think I'll take a picture of it with it at the end so that you can check it out and see the card. These are actually little cards, and they have a little story on the back. It says, Creative Spark, a Christmas tree that tells your story. Imagine a Christmas tree decorated with ornaments that represent your life, memories, or dreams. What would each ornament symbolize? Would the tree be classic and warm or modern and abstract? And that's what it says on the back of this card. So I think it came together. So now I'm just going to bring in these foiled panels, and basically we're going to cut these out and lay them down on a card base, and we've got a card. I'm not going to add any sentiments, any gems, anything, because you've got all the sparkle and you've already got all of the sentiments that you need on there. So these say, decorate the season with joy, sending merry little wishes. And both of them say the same thing because I heated the plates up and just kept glimmering them. I didn't change them. I just heated them up, left them lay on there, and then just changed out my foil and changed out my color cardstock. I'm trying to get a little bit of an edge so I can put a frame around this one. So I think I wind up at 4 by 5 1/4 on this one. And I wind up doing the same with the other, but on this one I'll lay a gold glitter panel behind it just to bring in a little bit more sparkle. And then on the red one, we'll just layer it up on just a white cardstock. So this is, I mean, I could do it just like this, but I decided to go ahead and grab a gold panel because I'd seen one in my stash, and it's got glitter on it. And so we're just going to layer it up. I'm going to have to trim my card base down because this is a little bit off, but I think this pairs nicely with the glitter foil, the gold glitter foil that I used. I actually used a sparkle foil on one and just a plain gold on the other, I think. So my little glue, I've been using that little bottle and I've pretty much emptied it out, so I needed to grab the glue press, but it's back to working now. So I'm going to get this laid down on there. And I think just, you know, the gold and the black look really pretty together. And I think that's all you need. You really don't need anything else. Now you could choose to just foil like maybe one of these strips and then one of the sentiments and make a half, like maybe do 2/3 of your card base in a solid color and then have, you know, the top third or the bottom third of it with this pattern, and then you could add some sentiments below it or whatever. I think you could do a lot of different things with it, but I just kept it really simple and just created 2 fast cards. And I think the foiling does all the work for you. So I'm going to glue this up and get it pressed down on there, and then we'll take a look at all 3 cards. And I think they're super fun. So I've got my red and my black, and then I've got my die cut pieces. And here are some close-up pictures. If you like this content, I'm going to link up a playlist with some more that you can watch. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.